who God is and what he wants you to do in your life. And the more you learn about him, the more you feel secure and have strength for whatever challenge you have to face. Reading the Bible is the best kind of studying, my friends. And you can learn to memorize scripture. Yes, you can definitely learn to memorize scripture because, let me give you an assignment. Here's a special assignment for you. What's your favorite verse in the Bible? Write it out and be sure to memorize it. Make it your own. And if you can't think of one, how about using one of these? How about Joshua 1:9? Be strong and courageous. Do not be terrified. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. And how about this one? Very simple. Proverbs 3:6. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight. There's so many scriptures in the Bible that you can use, that you can memorize, that are so easy. And memorization, you need these scriptures because it's going to come a time when the enemy is knocking at your door. It reminds me of that little girl. There was a little girl and she was just a little tiny thing. And the pastor was asking the congregation, what are you going to do if the enemy knocks on your door? And this little girl raised her hand. And he said, Susan, what are you going to do if the enemy knocks on your door? Her response was so funny, but it was so real. She said, I'm going to let Jesus answer the door. We need to start letting Jesus answer the door, because when we get our nerve up and we think that we're big, bad, and ugly and can handle anything, and Satan comes and he beats the clothing off of you, that's why we need to know that there's a way out of our mess, and it's JESUS.
Where can you buy a brand new Nissan with a lifetime warranty? Kingston Pike. Hey folks, Gerald Anderson with Ted Russell Nissan. You heard it right. Every new Ted Russell Nissan comes with a lifetime warranty, and that's a long, long time. Ted Russell Nissan on Kingston Pike.
Good morning and welcome to AM 1380 WYSH and Ask Your Neighbor. Ask Your Neighbor can also be heard and seen on our website, WYSHradio.com. And if you are in Anderson, Roane, or Morgan County and have Comcast cable, you can watch Ask Your Neighbor on BBB TV Channel 12. Ask Your Neighbor is the program where you call in and do just that. Ask Your Neighbor. Do you have a comment? Do you have a problem? Or do you have a question? Then call in and ask your neighbor. 865-457-1380 or toll free at 877-711-4005. And for those of you that might be listening or watching on the internet, you can email from our website, WYSHradio.com. Just click on the Contact Us button and email your questions. Now sit back and listen as listeners throughout East Tennessee and the entire world answer your questions on Ask Your Neighbor on BBB TV 12 and AM 1380 WYSH.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome into Ask Your Neighbor this morning. It's nice to have you tuned in, dialed up, and hanging on with us. I've been listening to me. I told you earlier we're going to talk a little bit about, did anybody out there, you can call me and let me know, receive your new tax appraisal assessment in the mail yesterday? I know a lot of folks did because I've heard from a bunch of people. And if you follow any of the pages online that have to do with Anderson County, there's something on about all of them talking about tax appraisals and tax assessments. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I've reached out. Let me start with this. I'll start with this. Do you guys have any questions about it that you'd like to ask, anything you'd like to ask? And if you do have, call me first. Go ahead, 865-457-1380 or 877-711-4005. Pat called earlier. I think he said his went up $133,000. His son's went to over $600,000. If you haven't got yours yet, like I said before we went into the break, you might want to sit down. But take a quick break, see if you guys want to get on the phone and start off, and then we'll go from there. And if not, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, process, and kind of how it's going to work. Your taxes aren't going to double. That's the good news. Bad news is your insurance is going to go up, but I'll address it for you in just a second.
As a homeowner, I'm always looking for peace of mind, especially when I have a costly, unplanned expense, like a cooling system repair or replacement. That's when I turn to the eScore Quality Contractor Network. They're the pros who've been specially trained and approved by TVA and your local power company. The quality contractors are licensed and insured, so you can be assured the job will be done right and inspected for free. Contact your local power company or visit energyright.com to learn more.
The NASCAR Xfinity Series.
The grandstands rise to their feet. Green is in the air.
Caps off a doubleheader Saturday.
Trouble turn number 3. One car almost spins. He nearly took out Sammy Smith.
Underneath the Alabama sunshine at Talladega Superspeedway.
Brandon Jones comes up off of turn number 4. He'll see the checkered flag.
It's the Egg Pro 300.
Saturday, April 26th, 3 p.m. right here on WYSH.
You know, back in the day, Brushy Mountain State Pen was not a place you wanted to be. But today, it's a place you just can't miss. Today, you can tour and see just what it was like to be in Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary. Take a self-guided tour. You'll meet with former prison guards and former inmates that can answer all your questions. Get a map of the grounds and visit more than 30 stations. This is an experience you're never going to forget. And if you prefer, you can take a private tour led by a guide, available for groups of at least 15. Don't forget to check out the distillery tour. Enjoy a meal at the warden's table. Tour our museum and our theater with the Brushy Mountain documentary running twice an hour. And of course, stop by our gift shop to take something home to remember your day. General admission tickets can be purchased at the gift shop during business hours, and they offer senior and military discounts. Go online to tourbrushy.com for more information or to book your tour. Tour hours are Tuesday through Saturday, 10:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. with the last tour starting at 5 o'clock. All right, guys. Good morning, everybody. This is Ask Your Neighbor on WYSH. I'm going to start off by telling you guys, if you received your tax assessment in the mail and your property value has went up extensively, first, I'll let you know there's a Tennessee law. Well, there's a law. It's a fairness in taxes, I believe is what it's called. They can't just raise your property tax. The county commission can raise your property tax, but it can't be done through reappraisal. I'm looking for the exact. In Tennessee, the county cannot automatically raise property taxes solely due to the state-mandated reassessment of property tax values or property values. Tennessee's state's truth in taxation law requires that all counties adjust their tax rate to maintain the same total tax revenue as the previous year, excluding new construction and improvements. This is done by calculating a certified tax rate that reflects the total assessed value. So in other words, this is what's going to happen. Now, could your taxes go up? Yes, but that is solely and absolutely up to your county commissioner, because this is what will happen. They will set the new tax rate. In fact, I was talking with John Alley today. He is a tax appraiser. He's your property assessor. So I was asking him today, and my question was basically how many properties went down, because if every single property in Anderson County doubled, our tax rate is right now 2.6 something. That would be cut in half if every single property doubled. Now, if some of them went down and others went up, then that number might be a little bit different. But whatever that number is, it has to equal the exact same amount of tax revenue that's being brought in today. Am I making sense so far? So you guys understand that? So if your house was worth $100,000 yesterday, and then today it's worth $200,000, if all things are equal and all property went up, then your taxes shouldn't go up. The tax rate should be cut. If, again, there may be a little bit of difference there. I wanted to know because a lot of times they'll say, well, some of them went up, but some of them went down. I always ask people, if you're out there and your appraisal, your assessment went down, I'd love to hear from you, because for one, that's going to be hard to believe. And when I asked Mr. Alley about that, he said very few dropped in value. I believe the count was 156. So out of the thousands upon thousands of pieces of property owned in this county, 156 of them depreciated while everything else appreciated or stayed the same. So I hope that answers it for you. Your taxes are not going to double. They should stay pretty much the same. Now, here's what can happen. They will set the tax rate. They'll go in and look at what properties went up, what properties went down, and then what that tax rate number should be to stay exactly the same. They should certify that as the tax rate. However, county commission, and I've seen this done before, can say, let's hold our tax rate at 2.6.002. Now, if they do that, they stand and say, we did not give you a tax increase. Your tax rate was 2.6 before the assessment, and it's 2.6 after the assessment. We can't help that your property value went up. But in truth, the first thing they have to do is certify the new tax rate. So that will drop. Then they would have to, pretty sure, have a vote to raise it back to the 2.6, which would be an intentional tax increase. And I don't think anybody on our commission is stupid enough to do that. I really don't. That's because that would double your property taxes. And where we're all going to run into information is not information. Where we're all going to run into trouble is with insurance, depending on what your policy says. Some people, like your home might be, let's say your house is worth $100,000, and your insurance says, we will pay $100,000 to rebuild your house. Well, now they're saying your house is worth $200,000. So your insurance company is going to come back and say, well, you're going to have to have $200,000 worth of coverage to completely replace your home. And that much coverage is going to cost more through your insurance company. I don't know exactly how insurance works. Tracy worked in insurance for a while. She knows a lot about it. She knows more than me. And our rates are going to go up. Your rates are going to go up. But I'm not sure how. I would encourage you guys to reach out to your insurance company, your insurance agencies. I might see if I can get, I don't know if Sammy would know, but he's been fooling with insurance. I might see if I get Sammy on the phone to find out, or if any of you, if I have any insurance agents out there that can address it. I think people would like to know, because there are a lot of people. I'm telling you, my phone I was getting texts last night, and if you have social media, Tracy was showing me people are just, wringing hands and gnashing teeth. The world's going to end, thinking that their taxes are going to double. And that's a pretty reasonable thing to think. My house, I think, doubled plus 100%, at least a 100% increase over what it was in 2020. I don't know that I don't know to the extent I'll contest it. But I did ask how you come about the values of each property to the property assessor. And hang on, I'm going to try and tell you that. Okay. When I asked him about it, he said the tax rate will be lowered to equal the amount of revenue from last year. The rate will be set by a county commission and city councils, municipalities. The same thing that happens in the city, the county will happen in the city. By law, we only list what property would sell for in the current market. A few properties dropped in value. I believe the count was 156. We have an open assessment change notice reports in our office that are open for public viewing. We, the Anderson County Property Assessor, determine value with the guidance from the Department of Property Assessments based on sales and what the cost to build a home in 2020 versus the cost to build a home in 2025. So that's somewhat reasonable. I mean, you've got, if you look at what things are selling for, and I kind of foresaw this coming when you had 800 square foot houses selling for $500,000 and, you know, people fighting for them. It creates a bubble of value that sooner or later, they'll come down. So if you were out there and you received it, I hope maybe this explains it, maybe it don't. If you've got questions about it or what have you, I'm still communicating with the property assessor. Let me see here. He says, we're taking calls in our office for taxpayers with concerns about their reappraisal values, or if they feel that there are errors. We'll be doing this for 2 weeks. After reviewing, if we change anything affecting their property value, they will receive another assessment notice by June, reflecting the updated value. Then, if the change is not satisfactory, property owners are encouraged to call the office and sign up for a value hearing with the Board of Equalization. And the property assessor's office, let's see here, I think his number is 457, it's 865-457-6225. So there we go. I hope that explains a little bit of it. Let me go to the phones. Some folks are on hold here. Let me see what's going on. Good morning. Welcome to Ask Your Neighbor on WYSH. Hello, Jason. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm better than I deserve, brother.
Yes, sir. We all
Yep.
are.
Mine double.
Yes, sir.
My taxes,
Your value of your property?
Yep. I just hope I don't have to pay double.
Well, did you listen to what I just got finished saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, what I'm still mad about is who down there at the tax assessory said that I was a power of attorney over my sister-in-law. So that's the way I got taxes. I got taxes over on that trailer over there on the land. And, they're saying now that they can take my land because of the trailer taxes.
You bought the land, you didn't buy the mobile home. Is that what it is?
Right.
And
I bought the land, and the mobile homes did not belong to me.
Well, can't you?
They were never in my name.
Can't you have it pulled off the property then? Get it off your property? Whose name is it in?
My sister-in-law's.
Well, then you should sue her to get it off your property.
Well, she's too incompetent the whole trial.
Well, that's between her and her. Yeah, but if they assess that to her, it won't be on you. It doesn't matter. That'll be between her and the court if she can or can't pay it. I don't
understand who put my name as a power attorney over her.
I don't think anybody can just grant you power of attorney. I think you have to accept power of attorney.
No, that's the way they wrote it up on my taxes. It was sent to me.
Well, if you have power of attorney, over her, then you can make decisions for her. Make the decision.
I don't.
It's one or the other.
My wife don't.
If you have power of attorney, then make the decision to move her trailer off and have it junked somewhere. And then you're done.
Well, I still owe, they say I still owe the taxes, though.
Jason, even if you have power of attorney, you don't assume someone's debt. You just assume to make decisions for them unless you create that debt. So I don't know how they could hold you responsible for that. You went and talked to John about it?
They were.
Have you talked to John about it?
I've talked to about everybody down there in the dang courthouse. Yeah.
Who auctioned off the property? Was it the county?
Sorry?
Who when you bought the property out of auction? Was it the county that did it?
So the county put it up for auction for
tax auction. Okay.
Yeah.
And then Tino's who filled out the deed probably. Who did the deed work stuff for you when you got it?
Well, see, that land company overbidded me, and I run out of money. So they got it, and they had it all put in their name and title search and everything. And why do I still owe taxes if it went to a tax sale? I just don't understand.
You've got me all confused. So you went to bid on property you didn't own to buy it. You did not buy it. They bought it. They own it, and you owe the taxes on it.
Well, they sold it back to me. They realized that I was trying to get it back from my mother-in-law.
Okay.
All right. They sold it back to me. So I own the land, but I didn't own the trailers, I didn't know that there was taxes on the trailer. And I've asked them ever since I've owned that in 2017, is these trailers going to have effect on my land?
Jason, just hire somebody to pull the trailers off your property. It's just that simple.
One trailer's gone. I got to go to the county sheriff's department and get a police report for that one that burnt down, and I got to go to the fire department and get a report from them.
Or that's what I'd do. I'd burn the other one down. If it's yours, burn it down.
Yeah.
Go get a burn permit and burn it down. Be done with it.
Well, they still going to charge them taxes to you.
Again, I don't know.
I don't.
You're see if they do, and then you go to court with them, because I don't think they'll win that. If you didn't sign anything to buy those trailers are not in your name. I don't know how in the world they think they can legally tax you.
Well, see, what pisses me off, they put it in my name. The taxes, the trailer.
Well, if it wasn't included in the sale, I mean, I just can't go put something in your name. I mean, I can, but when it comes up, it legally have to be removed.
The county changed it down there. You know, it was supposed to be in Michelle Williams' name.
Who bought?
Now they're saying that I own it.
Who bought the trailers? Her?
My father-in-law, years ago.
Okay. So it's either in your father-in-law's name or her name, one of the two.
It was her name.
Okay. And so you went down and bid on the land it sat on.
Right.
I guess what you need to go back and find out is look at the description of what the county was auctioning off, what the county took possession of. If you go back and look and the county took possession of both the trailer and the land and auctioned it off as one piece, then you'd be responsible. But that you need to go look and see what the description was of what you bid on. You should have a full description of that when you bought it. And it should say.
Well, I've got the deed and paperwork that I bought from that land company.
And if it doesn't say that you got a domicile on it or structure on it, then if you didn't buy, if it does, then you bought them. If it don't, then you didn't.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
That's, I mean.
It just gripes my butt that they put my name on it. I was a power of attorney over her, and I ain't.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Have you talked to an attorney?
I guess I'm going to have to.
I would. I mean, because this is about the third year, you've had this conversation.
Oh, yeah. Ever since 2017, pretty much.
Yeah, we've talked about it, but I mean.
right, buddy.
That's what I would do. I'd go down and talk to an attorney and take your paperwork, and if they're taxing you for something that is not yours, they can't legally do that.
Yeah.
They might owe you money.
You know, a $500 trailer is worth $20,000-$30,000 now. You got to be kidding.
No, it's like, well, again, if it's yours, go burn it down and get it off the property. That's the way to do it. Get it reassessed or have it drug off. Well, sell it if it's yours.
I'm kind of stuck in the middle. That's where they live. My sister-in-law, my brother-in-law.
Well, evict them.
Yeah, I guess, well, I'm stuck in a hard place, buddy.
Well, if there's somebody living in it, Jason, then are they paying rent?
They're paying the light bill and the water bill.
I would just tell them if they either need to cover that or move, or you're gonna have it.
You know, I told them, I said, y'all gonna have to start paying some taxes. So
do that or evict them. I mean, either you own it and they're in it and it's yours and you need to do something about it, or you don't own it and they're going to owe the taxes anyway, or you own it and you're going to have to pull it off your property. I mean, there's just no. Yeah,
well, I guess I need to do that. Just pull it out there in the street and let them deal with it.
That's what I think you're going to have to do. But
yeah. Oh well. Have a great day, and I hope everyone else does too.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
Have a good weekend.
You too, buddy. Bye-bye.
Hey.
I'm going to take this quick break, guys, because I'm going to get the property assessor on the phone right now. We'll come back. Hopefully I'll have John on the phone, okay?
Warm weather is here, and with it come lots of reasons that you need Clinton Highway Wrecker Service. Wrecks still happen, cars and trucks break down, and Clinton Highway Wrecker Service tows them all. Boats and trailers, RVs and campers, motorcycles, whatever and whenever you need a tow, call Clinton Highway Wrecker Service immediately, and they will be on their way. With over 50 years experience, you know you can trust them to help get your vehicle where it needs to go without any damage. Put this number in your phone and in every vehicle you have, 865-945-7009, and help will be on the way. No matter the weather, car or truck problems can happen. A flat tire, a dead battery. Whenever you're in a jam, call the Wrecker Man. Call Clinton Highway Wrecker Service. They also have a body shop and can have your wrecked vehicle back to looking like new with just one call, 865-945-7009, and you will be on your way quickly. Clinton Highway Wrecker Service, in business since 1971.
Hey guys, I've got Anderson County Property Assessor John Alley on the phone with us. Good morning, Johnny. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Yeah, thank you. I know you're right. Folks, he's right in the middle of somebody in his office too, so he's taking a moment quick to talk to us. I've tried to explain to everybody that the process that our tax rate will be reset so that the county only collects the same amount of money. So people that are out there that got an assessment that is double the value that they had in 2020 are not going to be paying necessarily double the price because there'll be a new tax rate. Correct?
That's correct.
And then once that tax rate is set by what? The state? They come in and say, this is what your tax rate needs to be to keep your dollars where they were. And then
right. The State Board of Equalization does that. They'll set a new certified tax rate and they'll present it to the mayor and myself, and then it'll go to county commission and city councils for them to review. And if that agrees with their budgeting, then they'll adopt that certified rate.
So that rate comes from them, and if not, if they don't adopt that rate, that's where a tax increase could occur if they say no, we need more or less. But in all, if everything being even, if they're living on that budget today, they should be able to live on it today, the same amount of money. But so there's going to be no tax increase from the reappraisals unless county commission changes the certified tax rate that the state sends down. Is that somewhat correct? I mean, I'm sure some will change a little.
As in first off, it's a state mandated reappraisal, and and all counties across the state are doing it within a 3 or 4 year period here.
Yeah.
But no, it's like in every reappraisal, some are going to pay more, some will pay less, and some will pay the same, or real close to the same. But But as far as the answer to your question, well, if their value doubled, will their taxes doubled? No, with the certified rate being lowered, and as much as it looks like it's lower in other counties, then no, their taxes would not double in that instance.
And if somebody has, if they think that it was, and I read what you sent me a minute ago, I read that to the audience, but I'm just going to have you tell them again. If they do have questions about it, or if they believe the house was, their home or property was improperly valued, what's the process they go through, John?
Well, first off, I'd like for them to look on our website. It's acassessor.com, and I've got informational videos that I put on there just for the reappraisal for people who get on the website, and that's what I've put in the newspapers and advertised that, to go to that website and listen to those, especially those first 4 videos. They're just a couple minutes apiece, but they're very informative, and they explain the entire process.
You should have advertised it up here.
Yeah, I should have, yeah.
That's okay. We're doing it now. acassessor.com. Okay. And again, what's the process for if they can?
Well, the process is going to be right now. We're doing early call-ins. They call it, or informal hearings. Call in if you think there's an issue with your value. Then you call here at the office, 457-6225 or 457-6219, and the phones will roll. And we're getting a lot of calls right now, but if you see something in your assessment notice that you received that you think is inaccurate or there might be an issue, then call. We'll go out and review. Then if within about 2 to 3 weeks, there'll be another, if we were able to correct anything, you'll get a new notice showing what we did.
Okay.
At that point, if you still don't agree with it, or there wasn't any change at all, and you feel like you still want to be heard, then you make a call to the office and make an appointment up into at least the first week of June. You can call and come to the local board of equalization, and they'll hear your complaints. And they're an oversight board for me. They can overrule what I do, and I encourage anybody that I always tell people that that's their voice, and that's where it can be heard. And then from there, if they don't agree with what the local board does, they've got 2 or 3 more steps to go to the. There's an administrative law judge. They can go to the state board of equalization with an appeal. But usually don't have to go that far. It's usually, we usually come to common ground somewhere in between those times. But that's the process, the call-ins now, and then come to the local board of equalization. And from there, they'll give you directions if you want to go further.
I appreciate your time, Johnny. How's it feel to be the most popular man in Anderson County today?
Well, it happened very quickly.
Hey, sir.
Out of one notice, did that. But, I just want to say, too, what we do, I guess it's shocking to us as much as it is, to the property owners as well. But buyers and sellers set the market by what they've done over the last 5. This is a 5-year, process that's been going on. What we do in this office is record those sales.
Yes.
And update the values. That's required by law. And if there's somebody else sitting and they say they have to do the same thing, or the state will come in and take the county over, and then they'll send a bill to the county.
Sure.
For, to do the reappraisal, to set these figures at what they've got to be, because they know what's on our system. They've looked at the Register of Deeds office. They know what the values are, and we just record those accurately. And we make sure the data on our property cards are correct, as the field workers are out all the time, and that's what they're doing. They're taking things off, which would reduce value, and we also pick up things. That's just our job.
Sure.
But the buyers and sellers set the market. But just because your taxes, your value went up, don't mean that your taxes are going to double.
Well, I said earlier, too, I mean, over the last few years, we see 800-square-foot houses selling for $500,000. It's crazy, outrageous what the housing market did, but it's kind of like a housing bubble. It'll ebb and flow, but anybody that's looked for a home in Anderson County over the last 3 or 4 years knows the difficulty in finding one at reasonable prices. Home values skyrocketed lately. So, I mean, it's just natural that taxes are going to change, but as far as property taxes and assessments, the county can't make money on it. It has to stay the same. It'll be up to county commission to change that certified rate or increase it once it is set by the state. So if it does happen, it'll be out of your office and it'll be into the county commissioner's hands.
Right. Yeah. And they'd have to they have to announce that and have a referendum to exceed the suggested certified rate. And that's what it'll say. And if they do that, that means they're convening to have discussions about raising taxes. And then that goes to everyone. That whatever it's raised, that amount goes on top of what we've done.
Yes, sir. So, and of course, we'll keep people informed should that happen. I don't know that it will, but
and I'll be happy to send the videos if you want me to. I could send the videos to you to put on your site if you want people.
I would be happy to do that. Yeah, just email them to me, ron@merlefm.com.
Okay, I will, and I appreciate you having us on. We'll be glad to, take any questions from anybody on, if they want to call in here about their. Just be patient with it because we're receiving so many calls right now. But like I said, we've got 2 weeks. We're going to be taking calls, and we've planned for it. We've got several phone lines open. So,
all right, buddy. Well, I know, like I said, I know you're sitting there with somebody in your office, and I appreciate you taking a few minutes to talk to us. Just trying to calm people, not calm people down. I don't want to sound derogatory, but there's a lot of folks that are really worried. They felt like their taxes were getting ready to double.
Right.
And on face value,
everybody's probably heard, like you say, and what's been going on in the county for the last 5 years, and it started in 2020. And see, we used 19 numbers in our last reappraisal for 2020, and those figures have said, the same for the last 5 years.
Yes.
So now we have to bring them up to current value, and that's what a reappraisal does. It brings everything back into line what it would sell for in a normal between the normal buyer and seller on a normal market conditions.
Yes, sir. Johnny, thank you for your time, and send me those videos, and I'll post them on WYSHradio.com, okay?
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
All right.
Let me get these calls. I got calls coming in. Hopefully that answered questions that we had, or that I did. One. Good morning. Welcome to Ask Your Neighbor this morning.
Good morning, Ron.
Hi. Good morning.
Jason had the question about the mobile home.
Yes, ma'am.
Anytime you own property and there's a mobile home on there, even if you don't own the mobile home, you are still responsible as a property owner.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. So, but as the property owner, though, he has the right to evict them off his property if he wanted them off. Is that correct? Or do
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Now, he does not have the title for the mobile homes, but he is still responsible for what's on his property.
Well, that's interesting. So I guess like a mobile home park, the person that owns the ground it sits on pays the taxes, then he assesses a fee to the people that are there, I guess, right? Is that
everybody that we own a mobile home park?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Collect tax from those people that own the mobile homes, and they are responsible for their taxes.
But at the end of the day, because you're the property owner, you're held responsible in the county's eyes?
We're held responsible to collect those and pay those.
Okay. Very good. So
we went through this back in early 95, I believe it was, when we bought a mobile home park.
So if somebody doesn't give you the allocation of taxes for their particular unit, how do you do that if you don't own the unit? If you don't own the mobile home, how do you guys do that? You just tell them they need to pull it out and take it somewhere else?
Well, we had one man that was pulling his out before the end of the year, and he didn't want to pay his taxes. He wanted to leave.
Yes.
And, he got very violent. But we went to the property assessor's office, and that's when Mr. Long was there.
Okay.
And he said, yes, sir, you're responsible for your taxes.
Okay.
So each mobile home is taxed differently. And people used to say, you're collecting money on your property and we're having to pay it. And we're like, no, it's on the mobile home only.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
What would, as a mobile homeowner and having dealt with this issue, what would you recommend Jason do?
He's going to have to deal with his family, and family's hard to deal with.
That's it. Kind of at the end of the day, that's where I kind of think he's at. He's either going to have to make them pay or have to make them leave, and that's going to be difficult.
Oh, yes, and moving a mobile home is not cheap anymore.
No. Well, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you shedding light on it and helping. So, bottom line is it a rule or a law, a county law, state law, or whatever, that if you buy it with the mobile home on it, you're responsible for it? Do you know who set those rules or statutes?
I can't remember if it's a state law or what, but I know we ended up with everybody's property taxes on their mobile home at our mobile home park.
Gotcha. All right.
But I don't know if it's a state or a county.
Okay. Thank you very much. You've shed a lot of light on probably more information than he's gotten since 2017. I appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome.
Good
luck, Jason.
Have a good day, ma'am. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
There you go. I got all kinds of information. Anything else anybody else has? 865-457-1380. I had people on hold. Maybe Johnny answered their questions. 865-457-1380 if you want to call me real quick. Or 877-711-4005. As soon as Mr. Alley sends me the links, I'll get them on our website. I'll attach them to our Facebook page, everything that I can, and that might answer your questions. Or if you do have questions, again, you can call his office, 865-457-6225 or 457-6219. And then there's a process you can go through if you want to if you think your property's been misvalued. But the real rubber is going to hit the road once the state certifies what that number is going to be. At that moment, you'll be able to figure out what your taxes is going to be, unless county commission opts not to certify that number and chooses a larger number. I know they won't take it down because the state will fix it so that it's flush, it's even. The number that the state comes back will be the exact same amount of money as they're collecting property taxes today. That's the number that the state will give them. So they're not going to lower that. Be nice if they did, but they're not. So what they would do is reassess it and add to it, which would be a tax increase. And I don't think, I don't think any of the 16 of them would survive that in the next election if they did that, especially with the values coming back like they are. And if the housing market stays like it is, your property value is going to keep going up and going up and going up. And the good news is if you ever sell it, you're going to make money on it. The bad news is if you're going to keep it till you die, then you're not, you're just going to end up paying more taxes eventually on it. So there you go. I'll take a quick break. I'll open the phone, let you guys comment, question, whatever it is. But, the last day has been been interesting trying to explain to people property taxation process is a little difficult. There's a lot of people out there, smart people, that don't understand, and I was one of those people that didn't understand how it worked. But years ago, in 2009, when I ran for office, I educated myself as to how the process worked, and that's the only reason I know it. So I'll take a quick break. I'll be back, and we'll take your calls if you got them. And if you don't, we'll go to the house and get the weekend started. I'm going home early if I can.
The Chestnut Ridge Landfill at 140 Fleener Mill Road in High School will extend its Saturday hours for one day only until 4 p.m. on Saturday, May 3rd for Anderson County residents to dispose of items that cannot go into the convenience centers. This includes brush, limbs, and other wood waste, construction materials, or large loads of garbage. Hazardous materials and appliances containing freon, such as refrigerators, freezers, AC units, and dehumidifiers, are not accepted at the landfill. Such items, along with oil-based paint, lead, acid, or rechargeable batteries, scrap metal, metal fence posts, are acceptable. Tires on or off the rim and fluorescent bulbs can be taken to Blockhouse Valley Recycling Center, 1480 Blockhouse Valley Road in Clinton on Saturday, May 3rd from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. All residents must show ID and proof of residency. Residents will be required to wear a high-visibility safety vest. The landfill will cut off the line promptly at 4 p.m., so make sure you arrive and are in line before 4 p.m. Saturday, May 3rd, Chestnut Ridge Landfill and the Blockhouse Valley Recycling Center will stay open additional hours until 4 p.m. for the Anderson County Spring Cleaning Event. Sponsored by the Tennessee Department of Transportation. Nobody trashes Tennessee and Anderson County Solid Waste.
All right, let's see here. I got a couple lines going. Good morning. Welcome to Ask Your Neighbor this morning.
What's going on, Ron?
Hey, Clay.
But we figured it'd be busy today, didn't we?
It was going to be a busy one. Yes, sir. How are you?
And I'm like you. Most people don't understand it, but technically it is a tax increase because you're right. It's going to stay the same the first year, but the next tax increase, and I think what most people are irritated about, is that when it does go up, next year they can raise it. Then when it goes up, I'm being taxed on twice the amount I was before. You know?
Oh, they can raise it today.
They can raise it now. Oh, they're not going to do that. We both know, like you said, nobody will make it through the election next time.
Yeah.
But you can raise it next year
and kind of slip it through. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you technically are looking at an increase because now, and I think that's what like you said, most people don't understand that you're going to be fine this year. But next year, when they can or are allowed to raise it, then I'm getting taxed on. We have a property, like you said, where they're building materials. So I totally understand my house going up. Mine almost doubled too, within a few thousand.
Yeah.
But my family has property on the river that doesn't even have road access, and we have to go in through somebody else's property. Not a thing built on it. It tripled.
Holy cow! Well, river property, I was told yesterday.
Yeah, I understand that too, but I mean, I think that's what most people are angry about is that, yeah, that's fine. You know, I'm not going to see an increase this year, but next year when y'all decide to raise the tax rate, now I'm getting taxed on triple what I was before.
Well, I don't think if they raise it, whether they raise it to this year or whether they raise it next year, I don't think that I don't think they'll survive through it because of the huge reassessment, and the reassessment of our property does not bear any further expense on the county. So there is they're not, it's not going to cost them any more money to run the county just because your property tripled. So if they raise taxes, it will not be because your value went up. There's no more burden. They don't have to hire another cop or another sheriff or whatever because property values tripled. They don't have to hire new EMS people because property values tripled. They don't have to hire new firemen because property values tripled. There is no liability to the county.
No, you're right. I know you're right. I know what you're saying, but I mean, still, you're looking at it, you know, taxes go up. That's what happens.
Well,
we have to wait and see.
Yes, we will wait and see. Rest assured, at that point, I won't be the calming agent. I'll be the guy leading the charge.
The values were excessive. I think in a lot of areas, you're probably right. And like their argument will be, it's all the time, would you sell your house for that? Well, heck yeah, I'd sell it for that right now. I ain't stupid, you know. But I mean, that's a dumb argument.
Well, I think you've got a case when you've got dormant property that can't be accessed unless a lease through somebody else or an easement through somebody else, and that property tripled. Yeah. I think you've got an argument there for them to take another look at it. So I would do that. I would definitely do that.
The only improvements been done to it the past 4 years is I cut a couple of trees down so I put my tent up down there. That's it.
Well, I would definitely go see Johnny about that.
Oh yeah, we definitely are. I mean, I think that I just think the rates are excessive. And I understand they're using, you know, well, this is what it costs to build a house now. I totally believe that's right. That probably is true.
Yep.
But that's I mean, that's a lot, doubling everything. You know.
I agree. I'm 100% behind you, and I think that it's a balloon that, just like everything, it's gonna level out and drop. And at that point, are they going to go back and reassess them lower? You know, that's.
I mean, we both know that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, I can only remember one time. All right, Clay. Thank you, buddy.
We'll see you, buddy.
See you. Bye-bye. I can only remember one time our taxes were dropped, and that was Mayor Frank did it. I think it was a penny. Dropped them a penny, and I don't. And if you guys out there, City of Clinton, if you guys lowered ours, and I'm not saying it correctly, forgive me. I just don't remember it. I remember a time when they were talking about raising the taxes. And see, at one time we were 78, and I think we're 82 cents here in the city now, maybe. I can't remember exactly. But again, I don't recall any municipality or any county, or at least Anderson County, lowering our taxes, other than one time Mayor Frank did that years ago. So I still think if they take that tax increase they gave us to buy to search for industrial property, if they take that off, because they straight up lied to us about that. You guys probably don't remember this. This is back when Myron was serving as county mayor, and they raised our taxes to create a fund to buy property they might find in the future. We're 15 years now, and they've not bought a single piece of industrial property, but yet they raised our taxes, and they've used it for God knows what. They've taken it and raped us to get it, and now they're using it they aren't buying any more industrial property. See, they were going to buy industrial property so we could continue to build industry and bring jobs and things like that. But to this day, I was right when I said they wouldn't do it. I was right when I said they'd use it for something else, because you don't go out and raise money in case you find land. See, they don't make any more land. You find the land, and then you make the case to your constituents that you need the money to buy the land, and here's going to be the benefit. And if you don't have enough money or negotiating power to do that without taxing your population, well, then you're stupid. You shouldn't be doing it. It's like me going out and telling the bank I want to borrow X number of dollars to buy a $5 million house. Well, I can't afford a $5 million house now. Why am I going to be able to afford it if the bank gives me the money? So if they couldn't afford to go out and negotiate to buy a piece of property, they certainly shouldn't have taxed us. So Robert McCamey and all these guys, you guys could unwind that, and that would make me feel real good, because we didn't buy any industrial property. I think citizens ought to have legal ramifications to that when they tell us they're going to do something, they get the money, and then they end up not using it for that and using it for everything else. Don't you think? I really do. I think we ought to be able to sue them or whatever. Maybe we can, because it's hundreds of thousands of dollars at the end of the day. Lots of money. I'll take and see. I'm going to get myself all worked up. I'm working myself back up 15, 17 years ago. I need to stop. When it comes to that, I don't forget that stuff. I remember it, because I believe that any logical human being that's out there that has to deal with everyday finances, that maybe ran a business or something, understands that you don't put the cart in front of the horse. When you do that, you're going to lose your cart 9 times out of 10. And anyway, I tried with everything I had to convince our county commission of that. And as we stand here today, I've been proven right. They haven't bought anything. They've been collecting money to buy stuff for, I don't know, I say 15, 17 years, however long it was. Maybe it wasn't that long. But it's been over 10. They've been collecting money to buy it. Haven't found it. In fact, I'd ask now, have we even been out searching for it lately? Okay, I'm going to stop. I'll let you guys talk. 865-457-1380 or 877-711-4005, and I will be back in 2 minutes. So hurry quick and call me if you want to talk.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Okay, raise your hand if you want to make your life a little bit easier. Great. Now raise your other hand if you like to be comfortable. Perfect. Now that you have both hands raised, imagine putting on your shoes. And that, folks, right there is your answer to an easier, more comfortable life. Go hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins. This is footwear you don't need your hands to put on. They can be raised in the air, and you can just step it and go. Why don't you experience what people can't stop talking about? Life-changing Skechers Slip-ins. Get your Slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Good morning. Have a great Friday, everybody. It looks like we're in for much more of the same. Better coverage of showers and thunderstorms throughout the day today, and elevated rain could lead to some localized flooding and flash flooding concerns. Now, we start the morning off with temps near 60. We'll climb back into the mid-70s throughout the day today, but heavy rain sets up shop for the rest of the afternoon and into the evening and early overnight hours. As we get into our Saturday and Sunday, improving conditions with more sunshine and pleasant weather for the upcoming weekend. That's a check of your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Mike Witcher from the East Tennessee Weather Center for AM 1380, FM 101.1, and FM 99.5 WYSH.
I want to thank John Alley for taking time out of what I know is a very busy day. Like I said, he's the most popular guy in Anderson County today. Going to be for a few weeks. But taking time out to get on the radio with us, and I will put those links up. And when I called Robert's name a minute ago, I wasn't blaming him for it. He was one of the commissioners that actually came up here and we debated about it. Myron came up here and we debated about it. And I can't remember who all that came up here and talked about it. But that's why I remember Robert was one. So I wasn't blaming him for it. I was just saying, hey, it'd be nice if somebody'd make a motion to unwind it since we lied about what we were going to use it for, not using it. Oh, well, we didn't lie around. We just hadn't found any. Well, that's okay. You hadn't found any. We understand, so give it back to us. That's okay. Good try. Good effort. Didn't pan out. Give it back to us. You owe us 10 years of overtaxing us for something you didn't buy. You guys have a great weekend. I'm going to stop before my blood pressure goes up. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Thank you for being with us, and I hope that you will stick around here in the rest of the day. It's 10 minutes after 11. We'll see you, folks.
Thank you for listening to AM 1380 WYSH and Ask Your Neighbor. Make sure you tune in at 10 a.m. each day, Monday through Friday, right here on AM 1380 WYSH and BBB TV 12, or listen live online.
Hang on here a second. Hang on a second. I'm sorry about it. Somebody was trying to get through to me on the line and called my cell phone and said, hey, I want to get on. I'm sorry. Is there something? Might be something wrong with our phones. 865-457-1380. Call me right quick. And it was Commissioner Isabel. Are our lines working? Oh, yeah. Okay. There we are. Good morning, Tim. Is that you?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Ron, how you doing this morning?
I'm good, thank you. I'm sorry I didn't see the line ring until you called my cell phone. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. Good morning.
Well, I always listen. Well, good morning. But I always listen, and it's delayed, so I want to make sure you're still on.
I was leaving, but
I'm on the phone with a constituent, and I didn't get to listen to everything that Johnny was saying. So he's got some other questions, too.
Okay.
And I talked to Johnny about this before it all came out. I said, Johnny, no matter what you put on Facebook, what you put in the newspaper, it's still not enough, and you're going to have people concerned because not everybody deals with all that. The more you can get it out, the more knowledge people will have. So we're scrambling to get that out on Facebook and everywhere else that it's actually not going to raise, and I'm sure that's what he was talking about.
Yep.
People's not going to pay any more tax. The rate's going to be set. But one of the constituents I was on the phone with wanted to know what the anticipated new tax rate was going to be. Did he happen to say that?
He didn't have it yet. I asked him about that earlier.
I didn't think he did because it's set by the state.
Yes, they don't have it yet. The state hasn't set the certified tax rate yet. They will take, I guess, all the information he has compiled here with these assessments, and then they're going to give that back. And I can't remember what time frame he said. He gave me a time frame. I know that people can debate it up through June, so I'm assuming it's going to be before June.
Hopefully we'll have it in May for our May commission meeting.
Yes.
That's hopeful. But, I'll try to call Johnny. Of course, I know that he's just covered up.
Yes.
I was, walking my grandson through the neighborhood yesterday, and somebody came out. Well, last night was about 7:30. What have you done to me? I said, let me explain.
I got calls. People were asking me because I got hit super hard on the river, and I understand that, and I might or might not debate it. I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to contest it. I might contest it for about. I think it's about. I don't know. Mine went double plus, so I think the plus ought to come off anyway. So, but
believe me, I'm right there with you.
I understand, but two, I kind of foresaw this coming, and I think anybody that's tried to buy a house or anybody that's that's paid attention to the housing market. I mean, in the last 3 or 4 years, Tim, I've had two people, one from California, one from Las Vegas. Like one put a note in my mailbox asking if I'd sell my house, and what the prices they were used to paying in California, our homes, anybody's home that's here would be worth about 5 times more than it is here in California. And they're throwing around money like that to buy a home down here. And you can just see that sooner or later, the home that's going to cause everybody's values to go up, which, that's good when you're valuing it, bad when you're paying taxes on it. So I kind of foresaw it coming. And I'm worried, too, that it's a balloon and it's going to pop. And when it does, we won't have a tool to change the tax rate until the next evaluation period comes along. Let me ask you that. Can the county at any given time reassess, or is there just a 5-year increment?
No, it should be a 4-year now.
Okay.
4-year on reassessment, but they can raise taxes at any time they see fit.
Yes, but they couldn't. Let's just say the real estate market crashed today, and over the next 18 months, prices just dropped, terribly. Could the property assessor reassess properties for that deflated value?
I don't think so. That's a Johnny question, but I think it would be,
they'd have to wait for the 4 years. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm afraid of.
You can always, every year, when your tax bill comes out, you can always, do an appeal.
Protest it, yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm worried about.
It could be because of the economy at the time that you can get an appeal to bring it down.
See, I feel, there's the real estate market, either the regular economy is going to catch up to the real estate market, and I think those of us that voted for President Trump, that's why we did it. Because the real estate market's been strong for the last, 3 years, very strong, still is very strong. So I think, if he is successful, then we won't have a crash. If he isn't successful, or if another conservative doesn't win in 4 years, I'm afraid we might have, I'm afraid the economy might not catch up to the real estate market, which would cause the real estate market to deflate. So
yeah,
we'll see.
But hopefully, the interest rates will go down.
Yeah,
that's what he's calling for now, and that'll help keep things more stable.
Well, eggs have come down, gas has come down. I've paid attention to that. Those things are down. Your general staples are down at the moment. I saw a Hyundai commercial yesterday that said due to the tariffs, others are worried about raising prices. We are lowering our prices, our MSRP. Ford came out and said, what we're going to do is lower the cost of our vehicles, so you will pay what we pay. They're offering employee pricing to everybody, which is basically they're discounting their cars. They're not, so a lot of folks that were worried about these tariffs running prices through the roof, I've seen at least those examples that they haven't, right, yet.
Well, just look at COVID. When COVID said, look how much prices went up on automobiles.
Oh, yeah.
It was list plus.
Yes, absolutely. So, well, hopefully, things are. I believe things are moving in the right direction. I'm happy with where things are going. I don't understand all there is to understand about tariffs and things like that, but I do know that if the economy doesn't catch up to the home market, because the home market is far outpacing growth in the economy. If the economy doesn't catch up to it, pretty soon the home market will either have to stall or back up. We'll wait and see.
Well, we've got a lot of new jobs in around Oak Ridge, Claxton, all that's coming in. These people's going to have homes to live in.
Oh, yeah. I've had Local 102 up here. I just had IBEW 205, had them up here the day before yesterday. And they're searching for people desperately. They need people. They need apprentices come in and get in that program because they've got hundreds and thousands of jobs that they could be filling right now with the
yeah, I heard them.
Yeah, so that there's Anderson County is a little different than the rest of the world. We're a little bit isolated because of the great jobs that we have, but there's big growth coming. So I believe we will be fine.
One thing about that growth, the Clinton exit is just about full. So the next exit is 128, Rocky Top, and the next exit there is 129. It's Rocky Top. So we got room to expand.
Yeah, that's me and you've talked about this for a long time. That one day, and when it lights fire up there, it's going to burn quick. It's going to go fast. You watch. When the first person builds, it'll be like wildfire. They all will. It'll grow.
Yeah, got to have the one anchor.
You got to have one. You got to have the first guy to take a chance. Somebody will do it.
Yep. And about the industrial, the tax.
Yep.
I've asked to give that back before.
Yep.
And it was used. It's been assigned to different things. And at one time, some of that was used to buy Chromebooks.
Yeah.
For the students.
Yeah.
And if we hadn't have done that's where Anderson County during COVID, where kids had to stay at home and do virtual learning. We'd have been in real pickle if we hadn't done for that. So that was a one-time expenditure.
Yeah, but it was used for things before that too, Tim. This has been. I mean, we did this during the Myron.
You're right. No, I agree with you 100%. And I sit on the CETA board, and every month there's nothing to buy.
Mm-hmm.
So let's give that money back to the taxpayer.
That's from your mouth to God's ear.
Give it back.
Well.
We're in the best shape this county's been. When I came on in 2010, we had $900,000 in the bank. We'll borrow money to make payroll.
Yeah.
Now we're hovering around $17 million.
Yeah.
And with about $11 million unassigned. And it's all, we did this, all the listeners remember when we talked about, the internet revenue that we'd be getting.
Yep.
That contributes a lot to that.
Yes, sir.
So, I think what you do, you've got enough money to sustain as long as you don't let people go like they did back before 2010 and just kept spending down to keep from doing a tax increase and getting in that kind of condition. I think we're leveled out, so we need to see what we can give back to the taxpayer.
Well, Russell makes a point of talking about how generous, how well you guys have worked with him. We've given our deputies raises. We've given our county employees raises. I think you guys are handling our money. You're doing the right things with it. But yeah, if we can maintain that, pay people a fair wage, keep them employed, and there's still money left over. Yeah, I wish you all would give it back.
Then we give it back to the taxpayer and put it there.
And I'm all for the kids having Chromebooks, but we're building a $50 million school. If they can afford a $50 million school, they ought to be able to pay for their own Chromebooks. So, plus
and all this came before the last tax increase, to help fund the schools.
Well, and so, the president sent down a whole lot of money for COVID to the schools, to the counties, to the states. So, in fact, that's where the idea of building a new school was birthed from. That came straight out of Dr. Parrott's. He told me they were going to use that money and try and move quickly to use part of that money to build the school. So there was a lot of money. So yeah, again.
And the result of that, new schools because of the growth in Anderson County.
Yeah, I'm not criticizing it. I'm not being critical at all.
And then when you got growth, you got more homes. And you and I, we talked about this on the radio. We did a ratio with Johnny Alley about how many new homes was going to be built. That's why we didn't need a tax increase. This is what this new growth is going to bring in.
Sure.
So, even with, we get another 300 homes on the books, we're going to be
That's a lot of money.
Sustainable. Of course, other things go into play. A cost comes out of that, but still yet.
Well, if you have 300 more homes, then you're going to have more officers to patrol those 300 more homes. You're going to have a bigger fire department. Ambulances, fire. I mean, you're going to have more service. So, you weigh that against it. But usually the taxes collected from those homes and the sales tax from the people that live there are more than enough to sustain that. And again, like you said, we got $17 million in the bank too to work with.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, buddy. Anything else you want to let people know about?
No, that's it, Ron. And just, I think you're probably going to put something on there on your website.
Yes.
And I'll start steering people to that as well.
As soon as Johnny gets it to me, I'm going to get it up. Okay, put it on
All right,
there.
brother. I sure appreciate you.
Anytime. I appreciate you. Thank you for the information, and we'll find out, try and find out. So as soon as we get the certified rate, I'll put it on the radio.
And anybody that calls, of course, I take their phone call because I use this as my company phone, so I answer it anyway. But sure. I sure appreciate the opportunity to talk to anybody about it.
All right, buddy. I appreciate it.
All right, Ron, you have a great day.
All right, you too, Tim. See you, sir.
See you.
Bye-bye. Well, there you go. That's information we didn't have prior. Anybody else, anywhere else? Anytime we stir the pot, I like to give you guys a moment or so to contribute. So I'll take a 60-second break, and then I will come back, and we will head toward the house, or we'll continue the conversation. A lot of times, too, when we when we add new stuff, when somebody adds something to the whatever we're talking about, it creates questions. And that's why I always like to give, before I end, I always like to give you guys an opportunity to ask. And then we'll try and find out, try and answer them. All right, 23 minutes after the hour of 11 o'clock. In 60 seconds, I'll be back with your calls. Just like Tim, he called while he was going off because he thought he was calling my cell phone to tell me to answer the other phone because it's delayed if you're listening online. That's why I take a 3-minute break on trading time to give you guys time to kind of gather your thoughts. That's why I'm kind of stalling right now before I take this 60-second break. So those of you that want to will get on the phone that are listening online. And I can look right now and tell you online at this moment we have, well, somehow the windows got closed. Well, I thought I could tell you how many people we had listening online. Let me see. It's probably going down as we speak right now, isn't it? There we go. Live 365 dashboard. There it is. Okay, we have right now, as we speak. Well, hang on, it's loading. Okay. I'll take a break, then I'll come back and tell you. Never mind. There's folks listening online.
Have you ever wondered how a body shop comes up with the exact color when they repair your car? H&H Body Shop has some of today's newest and most technologically advanced equipment.
I have a camera that if I had no idea what color your car was, I tell that camera what the whitest white is, and I tell it what the blackest black is. That's how you synchronize it. And I take a picture of your vehicle. It sees what it sees. It hooks to the computer. It goes into the database of all the formulas ever created for cars. It'll make a formula for what it's seen.
It'll tell you what to mix.
Yeah. And on top of that, I have some technicians that can see it and make it. They can see it and they know what it takes to make it.
H&H Body Shop, today's best technology and local down-home folks. Locally owned, locally operated. H&H Body Shop at 749 North Main Street in Clinton. Call 865-457-9735.
It looks like it's dropped down to about 113 people listening online right now. So, to WYSH. There you go. Have a great day, everybody. We certainly do appreciate each and every one of you tuning in, dialing in, listening in, and hanging out here with us because, you know, we wouldn't be here without you guys being there, and we appreciate it. Hopefully that you'll tell a friend and neighbor about it. Tune in. We'll be back here Monday. I'll do it again. Jay will be in here in the morning. Las Vegas High Roller here with the Classic Show. So tune in, Jay. Get him in. Listen in. And if you got requests, he'll play them. I play them every morning too. You guys, I don't know if you know that or not, but if you have a request or something you want to hear or do, I do that in the mornings here. We jibber jabber a lot, but you know, I also play requests when you ask. Have a great weekend.
Thank you for listening to AM 1380 WYSH and Ask Your Neighbor. Make sure you tune in at 10 a.m. each day, Monday through Friday, right here on AM 1380 WYSH and BBB TV 12. Or listen live online at WYSHradio.com. And remember, if you have a question, comment, or problem, call in tomorrow and ask your neighbor. Or email from our website. It's Ask Your Neighbor. Thanks for listening.